Welcome back to Mescala Moguls. It's your boy, the one with the scar in space, your boy Scarface. And as you can see, we're with the beautiful Jacky again.
Hey.
And so I know you guys love it every time we do content together. We've done, like, I've asked you questions. We've done like several other podcasts. What we should do is like here in the future is go live a little bit more, because people love it when we did our live. Because I shared that also as a podcast episode, because you know how you can download it and stuff.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh, I love that, you know, like when you guys sit there and chat.
I've been trying to get him to move to LA. I'm just kidding. Because then we could do lives, but we're always on a time crunch. As you know, I'm very busy. He's very busy. He's here on a time crunch, so it's kind of hard. But I think we should go live, maybe next week.
Yeah, we can do something, and then that way, because I was telling her like some of the things that I do, and like that way, like she could start doing them. I was telling her how, I mean, you guys seen it, like when I go live, just the quality looks better. So next time I go live, just jump in real quick if you see it, and then you can see
I do jump in. I have seen some of them.
And so like it's cool because I can post like different things. Like now that I've had like some sponsors wanting to sponsor the live, I can put up their logo and like.
I'm trying to get on his level. His work ethic and professionalism when it comes to this stuff. I'm like, what? You do that? You do that? I give him some tips too, but I was like, you do that?
No, she gives.
No way, bro.
She gives great tips because she was telling me, hey, you should do, and that's why I like sitting down and chatting with her, because like we bounce things off of each other, and you're like, you do that? And I'm like, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. And so it's never like, hey, do this. It's like, hey, you should think about this.
Yeah, just kind of put it in the back of your mind that it's a possibility.
Yeah.
It could bring you a little bit more. It could get you a different audience or whatever. Just kind of like, I guess because when you're on the inside and you're doing it, you don't see the outside. Mm-hmm. And then when somebody's like giving you advice from the outside, you kind of think about it more. Like there's things that maybe you don't see that you could probably invest time in so that you can gain more from what you do.
And this is how I am. If I hire a personal trainer, they better be in shape, right?
You're not gonna hire a fat guy.
Exactly, but since you're killing it on social media, like, so when you like give me tips or things that you're doing, I'm like, okay, yeah, yes, like I listen. If somebody who had like 1,000 followers, I'm not saying that that's bad, but they're like, this is how you grow a profile. I'm just like, like.
But you know what he's done very well is been able to monetize what he already has. And that's something that I haven't done in my social media career as long as I've done it. It's only been 2.5, 3 years that I've done it as myself, but he's been able to monetize in a way that I had never considered, or maybe I just never sat down to focus and really think about different avenues of monetizing this one thing. And you've done that really effectively. Mm-hmm. So I think it's been very beneficial for you.
Yeah, and that's why I think it's great to sit down and talk with people, because I tell you about the real estate stuff that I'm doing as well, and that's because
what the hell aren't you doing? Like real estate, traveling to film, doing weddings, doing things for your community, like doing one-on-ones, merch. Like I'm like, what the? Give me my notepad. Where's my phone?
Slow down a little bit. But it's cool because like she's gonna start doing a lot of this stuff too. So I'm excited for what
stand by
2024. So this is the first time that we're talking this year, right? So like 2024, I think we both went through a suspension last year.
Oh my god!
But you got yours back.
Ban,
I never got mine back.
I was like, whoa, taken completely back, because my account at that point, it was Coachella Day.
Yeah, I remember.
It was Coachella Day because I was taking my 2 little ones to Coachella to see Bad Bunny. And I was shopping, and I was really excited to do content around that. And my account was doing really, really well at the time. It was like my numbers were going up, my videos were going viral. And I was like, okay, cool, like we're on a good pace. And I don't know what happened, but I literally went into Forever 21 and I was like, should I do content while I'm in here? And I was like, no, I'll just do content after, because I really need to concentrate on getting these outfits for my kids. So I was like, oh, I'll just film after. When I went to open my app, when I got outside of Forever 21, gone. Permanently banned.
You got the little notification?
Yes. And I was like, what the? Like literally before I went into Forever 21, it was fine. The second I came out of Forever 21, I was like, oh, I should record the outside of Forever 21 and then the bag and me walking. And then when I get in the car, I'll talk more about why I'm shopping at Forever 21 and like show what I got my kids. Banned. I had no idea why, no reason. There's no way to really reach TikTok other than the submission form. Like, I just was like, what just happened? But I learned, I think, a lot in life to just kind of let things be the way that they are. And it's like, okay, well, if I really can't control it, am I really gonna allow this to ruin this special moment with my kids? So what I decided to do was, yeah, I did everything I had to do, like submit a form and do, I guess, what you would think would be like reach out to TikTok, like submit the settings or like go through the settings and submit the form. But other than that, like, what could I do? If they banned me, they didn't give me a reason, it went away, start a new one. So I legitimately started a new TikTok, and my first TikTok was about us going to Coachella, went viral. I think it has like 1.7 million views, and grew a second account from there. And over the course of 3 or 4 months of me emailing TikTok every single day and requesting for my account back and kind of just submitting, kind of pleading my case, I guess you can say, every single day, one day somebody wrote me and was like, your account's back. And I was like, what? I was like, it's back, what do you mean? And I was like, what? And I logged in, it was back. And I found out that I got banned because I guess when they changed their policies, some of my old videos were violating the new policies, and I guess multiple videos of mine got flagged, and it was too many at once, and then my account got banned because I had so many violations. And it was weird because it was when they were doing carousels in December. All my carousel videos,
they're the ones that got flagged.
Yeah, and that was it. And I was like, well, wouldn't you know? Like, what? And yeah, yours got banned last year too, and we went through the same process.
Yeah, and like you told me what you did. Unfortunately, mine didn't give it back, but I was in the same boat. I was like, well, if I really like doing this, and if the content is actually good, we're gonna be able to grow it back, you know? And luckily for me, since I do everything, like I record everything like externally, not through the phone, I had all the majority, I would say 90% of my videos. I'm
telling you, smart man, because the way that I don't do that, the way that like you have your content backed up, I'm sure your shit is organized. I can already see like folders on your,
I do have it by month.
Yeah, I could totally, by topic and shit. Like the way that he's organized, I'm inspired because I need to get my content creation together to that level, and especially for this, this type of stuff. And
it was, I was glad at the time I was like, let me just save all my stuff. You know, not thinking, oh, I'm gonna get banned in the future. Let me save everything. It was just like, let me keep everything. And luckily it worked. So I was able to just like repost everything, and it was able to grow. And then it's not as big as the other one was, but it's totally fine because I'm still growing. It's still, people are still finding me. I still get messages all the time saying like, why'd you stop posting? It's like, I didn't stop posting. I just like the other account got suspended, but.
And I think your engagement is higher on this account. It looks like.
It's doing way better. Like how fast it grew to what it's at now is actually way faster than what my other account grew. But then you learn, like kind of like yourself, like you learn what works, what doesn't work, what time to post, what time like you.
And then you also had those viral videos in the back of your pocket. That's something that I didn't have.
And it's so weird how it works. The videos that popped off on my other account weren't popping off on this account. It was different videos, and I'm just like, this is weird. Like those videos didn't do.
Changing times. Yeah. Changing times on social media. You know how people go through phases, and there's certain topics that are like.
Yeah, and like you learn different things, because like I also had a question about that, because one thing that I always get is like people see what we're doing, right? They think it's fun. Of course it's fun. We have our fun and stuff like that. The people you get to meet, the things you get to do. But just know I'm sure you feel the same way. Like it starts feeling like a job. Like social media starts feeling like a job. It's no longer we're just scrolling to scroll. Like we talked about it yesterday. I don't scroll through people's stuff anymore. I just get on, I post my stuff, and I leave social media. People think that I'm always on it because I'm constantly posting. I try to post like 4 to 5 times a day, but
you need to get on his. I'm like, if I post once, I'm like,
It's like, I got it.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, I rarely scroll now to be like, oh, let me look through, like, you know how you get lost in TikTok sometimes? It hardly ever happens to me anymore, just because now I'm just like, I got to create something. Like, it feels more of a job every time I open the app. I don't know if you feel the same way.
No, yeah, I totally agree. And I actually just was telling him that I came across this TikTok where it speaks about kind of like the science and like our mind and how our mind processes us consuming content. So when we start to consume too much content, it puts us in that state, in that frame of mind, rather than in the outputting content. And then we start looking at what other people are putting out, and we start wanting to tailor our content to what other people are putting out, instead of just putting out our own content and focusing like on our life. And then that will give us the inspiration that we need to post. It's great to scroll in terms of like what's trending, but not for too long, because it puts us in that mindset, in the consuming mindset. And if this is your career, if this is what you're doing as a full-time job, you can't be in the consuming mindset. So I've definitely, now that I've decided to take it seriously with intention this year, I've realized that consuming is not to my benefit. It's the opposite, and it takes up a lot of your time. So I have a rule now where I only scroll for breakfast, for lunch, and then before bed, like for 30 minutes or whatever. That's it. And I've minimized my screen time so much, and I feel so much more peaceful too.
That's what I need to do, because I sit there and I look at numbers, like
psycho,
what it's doing, just because, like I mentioned to you yesterday, is like, I want to know what's working, so I can double down on that, instead of like, if this ain't working, why am I doing that, you know?
Right, which is smart. It's smart to look at your analytics, but I think where you're,
you may get
like,
lost in like,
yes.
You know how some people focus on the likes? Like, I don't care about the likes.
No, it's the analytics.
That's where I get consumed, and it's a bad thing, you know, like, because everything is about like numbers at that point. It's no more like, of course, I always want to create the best content I can for the people watching, but I'm just like, I think I've gone into it with the intention of like, how many numbers is it gonna get?
But that's like business too, though. That's kind of like, I don't fault you for that, because that's the way that people do business, is the numbers. Like, people, even with selling clothes, when I had a boutique, you had a clothing business as well. It's really not about the clothing. It's really about knowing your numbers, knowing your analytics, understanding consumerism, understanding what people are buying, why, what's moving, what colors in season. Like, it's more than just what it looks like on the outside. So yes, numbers are important, but to a certain degree, and especially with social media, I feel like numbers have this elevated like presence in our life, and it does kind of take over, and you got to have a life.
Well, because also I feel like your numbers are your kind of like resume for companies. Like,
yes.
And so that's why I get so consumed with it, because like, if I'm gonna reach out to a brand and be like, hey, let's work together, I want to be able to show them this, and then be like, let's do it. Not like show them this and they're like, you had 100 views. You know, like, that's not gonna work.
Yeah, like your brand outreach.
Yeah, and especially like, because if they're gonna pay you or invest product into you, like, they wanna know they're gonna get some sort of return from it.
Right.
It may not be like like his video got us this, but knowing that he puts up numbers is going to give us exposure.
So basically, if you see Edgar wearing leggings, make sure you support, because his platform is basically women. So he's going to have to wear some leggings. I should have brought you some so you could put them on TikTok Shop.
Start putting them on there.
Yeah. And so I bring that up to say that I told him, like, in order for you to reach the brands that you want to reach, you have to find a way to harness in a male audience as well, so that it shows up in your analytics, and you could get to do more of Edgar also.
Yeah, because I have a lot of brands reaching out right now, like wanting me to sell like the Skims suits that she sells.
I'm
and then,
so
like,
dead. I would die. Dude, 1,000 likes right now and get this man.
Nah, I don't think that would
to
ever
wear a Skims jumpsuit on TikTok Shop, because that's what reaches out to him. And it makes sense, because his audience is like mostly women.
I was thinking about finding a model and being like, this is what it could look like.
Cheater.
Yeah, because I'm not gonna wear it for sure. But anyways, like, I know a big question that we get all the time is a lot of you guys are like, how come you guys are not dating? We're great friends. You know? Like, just because you don't see like what's going on behind the scenes doesn't mean she's not talking to somebody. Doesn't mean I'm not talking to somebody. Or like we just have a lot of shit going on. So, but you said that you cut off everybody this year?
Yeah, I did. Not this year, last year. Left them in the past. In the past, back in 2023. I did. I made, well, first let's touch on we have a professional friendship and relationship, and I love that. And I love that you guys are so rooting for us, but root for us to do great.
Exactly.
Professionally, and that we help each other grow professionally, because it's really hard to find people that like genuinely, especially of the opposite sex, that genuinely and authentically want to see you win and want to see you grow without it crossing any like boundaries. And so I hope that you guys root for us in that way. That's number one.
Before you move on, because like I always talk about it on the TikToks, like what would like say I did try, right?
Yeah.
And then it just got awkward, it didn't work out. You guys wouldn't see no more of this. So like, you know what I mean? Like,
do you guys want that? Do you guys want that?
It's like, do you guys want that? Like, do you guys want to risk that?
Yeah.
Because it happens like when you're friends with somebody, like say you start dating with them and then it ends, it probably is not going to go back.
Or what if it's like something awkward? Like, what if I don't like the way he farts? You know, and then I'm like, oh, it's because he gave me the ick. And you guys know there's a lot of icks now. So it's like, or vice versa, you know? What if he doesn't like the way that I eat my boogers sometimes or some shit? You know, like, I'm just, like, it's weird, you know? And it just like, this is a very professional environment and a very like, I just feel like it's really good, especially in our space, to keep your relationships on social media professional, because you never want to be those people that come on social media and are like, oh yeah, what happened to them that they were friends, and so then all of a sudden
making videos.
And then it's like all these questions and insinuations, and then you never know, one of those insinuations could piss him off and he could go off on a tangent about me, and then I'm gonna go out and you know, it just you know what, just we're not doing that. We're too old. I'm too old. I can't. So that's touching on that. And then the next thing was leaving shit behind in 2023. Yeah, he did that too, but probably not to the degree that I did.
Yeah, well, if it doesn't work out with somebody, I just cut them off. Completely.
Yeah, so basically for me, I decided that for some reason, like in December, I started to like fully cleanse. So if you guys don't know, or you guys have never seen me before, I had a business in the fashion industry for 10 years. I had a wholesale business and I had a retail business. And in January of 2023, so at the beginning of last year, I completely closed it, right? But I still held on to the big equipment. So i.e. the racks, the what are those called? The dump bins, like where you throw the orders in, the crates.
Yeah, I know what you're talking. I don't know what they're called.
Just like the expensive operations equipment, I kept that. I also kept the signage, like signage, hangers, poly mailers, like things that you would need to run the business, but not anything else. We sold out through everything else. Mannequins I kept, things like that. And in December, I had to have a sit-down conversation with myself, and it's like, where are you? Like, what do you want out of your next year? What do you want out of 2024? And when I really had a real conversation with myself, I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I don't find the same joy, the same passion, the same excitement for the industry. I love it still. I do think I'll get back into it, maybe when my daughter's older, but I really made the decision that, okay, I need to cleanse this out of my life completely. And when I got in that frame of mind of I need to cleanse this completely, like cleanse that part of my life completely, then it really like put so much more into perspective that I needed to cleanse so much more. And I was like, okay, I started to clean in December. I had a second property that had like all our business stuff that we ran the business out of, etc. So I sold everything. I threw away the signs, and I was like, if I could let go of such a big part of my life in order to move in a different direction and move with more intention, then I could let go of so many other things that are preventing me from reaching my full potential. And I started to realize after doing that I really want more out of 2024. In a way that in 2023, I was like, YOLO, you know, in a way that I really didn't care about in 2023. But for some reason, it just kind of like boom, 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 boom hit. And I was like, okay, let's do this. So I cleansed that. And then I was like, taking inventory on my life. And when I started to take inventory on my life, I was like, okay, there are some people, friendships along with like platonic relationships along with romantic relationships that I need to let go of, because I don't want to bring them into 2024 and drag this same energy into 2024. I want to move with more intention. So I did just that in December. I cleansed not only my home, which I'm still kind of finishing up, but all old things, big things are gone. And then also all of those relationships, even the small ones where it was like just small conversations with people, you know, like those people that you're like, hey, are you free? Like, let's go grab a drink. Or, hey, are you free? Like, let's go eat real quick. That wasn't like a consistent thing, but just like, oh, fuck it, I'm not doing anything. And over here, oh, fuck it, I'm not doing anything. And over here, you know, like that. And I was like, nah, that's it. And then I cut off one really big relationship too. And I just felt like it was time to kind of move with more intention. And that's a lot of what I did. I know Edgar's really good about cutoff, but I don't think that I was necessarily in the space of like, I need to cut people off last year. It was more like, I'm just having fun. And it wasn't really like, oh, I want to pursue anything serious with anybody.
Yeah, because we were talking yesterday about the last time we've gotten hurt, right? And the last time I got hurt, I mentioned to you that I was talking to a girl, and then like everything was going great. We met up and so on and so forth. But then it's long distance, and one night, 3 a.m., I get a message.
Oh, it makes my stomach hurt.
I really felt like it wasn't for me, that message. And it gave me that, it's a weird feeling, like almost like you're sick to your stomach, like you feel like they're being shady. And I was like, I don't like feeling like this sucks. And so for me, it was easier just to cut this person off, even though they were like, it's not even like that. But I've already felt like that, you know, and now in the future, you're gonna be like, questioning things, you know. So I was like, I don't like to feel like this. I hate feeling like that someone's being shady or someone's not being truthful. I was like, so this is over. I was like, I don't want to feel like that at all. So that was the last time, and it sucks because I was talking to this girl for a while. She seemed super cool, like we vibe so well, but then that happened.
And it was a good investment of time and energy into the person for you.
And so that's why, like, after that, I just cut that person off. And I'm so easy to do it because I've been single for so long. I'm just like, I'd rather be single where I'm happy and like doing my thing, not having to worry about stuff like that, than having to worry about like, is she out like
when you've gotten really comfortable with pouring into yourself, it's kind of hard to let somebody disturb that peace, especially because he was actually pursuing something real. My case was a little different, but he was actually pursuing something real with her. And the fact that she did this, it really took him back to a place where he was like, oh, that pit of that stomach feeling, like that really ugly feeling that you know better. And it's like, if I stay here, I know I'm gonna get hurt. And that already hurt enough. So I think for him, he was like,
yeah, I was instantly out. Even though afterwards she tried messaging and stuff like that, I was like, I already felt that, like, there's no going back, like.
Because it was like more than that. It was like lack of or loss of trust, I guess.
Yeah. She tried explaining, and I was like, it's 3 a.m. That doesn't sound like you're messaging a friend.
Dude, imagine that. Imagine literally like sleeping, and then you get a text, and it's like, oh, it's my boo. Like, you're excited, and you open it, and you're like,
because I thought something happened.
This isn't for me, or it doesn't sound like this is for me. Like, who the?
Yeah, because I remember, so I'm super cool. If I'm dating somebody and they want to go out, cool. Hey, here, I usually like Venmo or Apple Pay them. I'm like, here, buy a round on me. Like, I do stuff like that. Have fun. Message me if you need anything. Call me if you need anything. And they usually just like message you throughout the night, either way. But I was like, all right, well, have fun. I was like, I'm actually gonna go to bed because I have to wake up early, and I was feeling kind of tired. The melatonin was kicking in, so I'm like,
I already told his ass don't be drinking that shit. But
and so like I went to bed, but I'm a super light sleeper, so if my phone vibrates, I wake up. And so it vibrated, and I'm like, the fuck, like, who's messaging me? And I look at it, and it was her, and I'm like, oh shit. So I opened it because I thought something was wrong, and then like I read the message, and I was like, and I responded, I was like, was that for me? And she was like, oh, LOL, like kind of like trying to play it off and stuff like that. I'm like, I don't think so, you know, like, because then I tried calling her and she didn't want to pick up.
I'm like, where is she?
Yeah, and like I tried calling her and she didn't want to pick up. Then the next day she tried explaining like, what was going on, and I'm like, nah, I already felt like that. You know what I mean? Like now I couldn't even sleep. No,
how could you? You're like want to take a shit and throw up at the same time.
Yeah, and I'm just like
you're so sick.
Like you're just like, what the fuck is she like trying to meet up with somebody right now? Like, you know what I mean? Like all these feelings, like, and then you start thinking of that person actually meeting up with somebody, like, and like you're over here thinking like
crazy thoughts.
Yeah, and so that's why like I usually just cut people off. Like the moment I get, which is good and bad, the moment I get a weird vibe or something like that, I'm just like, I'm out.
It is really good. And then
it's bad because I don't give that person a chance.
Yeah.
Meaning like it could have just been like something small, or like I didn't get a full explanation on it or something like that. But me, I'm just like, no, it's not working. I'm out. You know.
I think that's probably a way that you protect yourself too, a little too much.
Mm-hmm. So I actually talked about this I did a whole podcast episode on commitment issues, and I struggle with that because just from my experience, I've always felt like people come and go. Meaning like, this girl came into my life, it's only a matter of time before she's gone.
Kind of like self-sabotaging?
And so I'm already expecting it to like, it's eventually like, I'm not gonna take it 100% serious because she's gonna leave at a certain point.
Oh yeah,
or something's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Or to the point where we're just like gonna go our own ways. So I'm just waiting for that moment.
That makes me sad.
But like, and that's why I say like, that's probably a sign for me saying like, oh shit, that I'm not in that space, you know,
yeah.
to be able to do that. This camera doesn't record as long as I want it to. So like, and I'm on, so that's why I love doing the podcast, and people love the podcast, and it's been doing so well, is because I'm fully transparent. Like most guys aren't going to tell you that. They're not going to tell you, hey, I struggle with like trusting that people are going to stick around. Mm-hmm. And so I'm honest about that, and I still struggle with it. Like if someone would come into my life right now, I'm more just like, how long are you gonna be here? You know, like
instead of just enjoying the moment.
Instead of like seeing where we can go from here.
Yeah.
Of course, I still do like all the little cool things that I like to do for somebody, but
you're not fully invested, so you're not fully experiencing the potential.
I'm always like, it's only a matter of time, like before.
That's a horrible way to live, let me tell you.
But that's me observing myself. Mm-hmm. And saying like, you're not ready to like
self-awareness.
Yeah, and so I tell people that I'm not in the space to be serious with somebody because I go through these issues, and until like I feel like I wouldn't go through that, why would I drag you along?
Right.
If they want to have fun, cool, we can have fun. Like
yeah.
Like I'm not gonna say no.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, no, of course not. You're a man.
But like I've been honest with people, and like, girls appreciate that, you know.
The honesty.
Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of people lack that. But I think it's because a lot of people are not self-aware.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just think, oh, I'm fine. It's just like something I'm going through. Like it didn't happen just out of nowhere. It was just like, this happened again, this happened again, to the point where I'm just like, this is like consistently happening.
Yeah.
To the point where I'm just like, it's just gonna keep happening now.
Yeah.
You know? And because like usually a girl comes into my life, and then a matter of time she's gone. Another girl, gone. Another girl, gone. And so I'm just like, okay, like I guess that's how it is.
The way you make it sounds so awful. Like the way you make it sounds like, I don't know, it makes me sad. It sounds awful because instead of like taking the perspective of like, I'm so glad I met that person because I learned this, and then like being like, okay, now I'm ready to move into the next phase. Like the way that you do process it, it sounds like it's very hurtful, like very like, and protective also of yourself, rather than being fully immersed and feeling the joy that comes out of that and being like, you know, I'm thankful that you were here for the period that you were in. I'm ready to move into the next level. And I think, but I'm happy that you're like in this self-aware state, because now you could start to really like, I need to learn how to fully immerse myself. Like
that, and like, I need to know when I'm actually ready. Cause I'll tell somebody straight up, be like, hey, like, cause they ask me all the time, how come I'm not dating? I was like, I just don't have the time, or I don't have cause some people require a lot of attention, you know? Mm-hmm. I just don't have that for you right now. Like, or
maybe somebody that requires a lot of attention isn't for you.
Or that too, because I give this example all the time. I'm usually up 6 in the morning and I work all the way until like 9, 10 p.m. Where is there time for like a girl? You know what I mean? Like, and I've ditched girls. I've be like, hey, I gotta go do this, which is like work related. I'm like, I'm gonna go do this. I'm gonna record some TikToks, so I'm gonna do this. Just because I see like where I can get this.
Yeah.
And that's gonna require like, I'm sure you've seen like those memes, and it's not a meme, but like those posts is like hustle for like 6 months and like it can completely change.
Absolutely.
And it has been true, because like the other one I was hustling like crazy. Unfortunately, it got banned, but then like I'm like, all right, we just got to do it again. So now I'm just right back in that hustle mode, and that's why I'm like, I don't put myself out there to the point where like I'm like, hey, let's go out and do something. I've gone on dates here and there, but I'm just like, in my head, I'm like, I could be recording TikToks right now, you know, like.
You're boring, bitch.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, I was like, I could be recording TikToks right now, and that's another thing. Like, I feel like some people are just not interesting, because. I went to go see a girl. Remember I told you I went to go see this girl, and
I'm like, ooh, editor's spilling all the tea today. I'm like, I didn't know he was gonna tell y'all all of this, but okay.
People like it. People like it. So I went to go see this girl in Arizona. So I went to go see her. Everything was great over the phone, right? We were texting. We called each other, FaceTime. Everything seemed like it was going great. And then when I finally met this person, she was gorgeous in person, don't get me wrong. But it just, there was like no communication there. It was just like...
The vibe wasn't there.
Yeah, it was just like nothing. There was no substance of anything, right? So like, if I would like talk about something, I would get like a real vague answer back. You know what I mean? Like not really like engaging in the conversation. And I was just like, this is not for me, you know?
Yeah, like this is boring.
Yeah, and it was boring. And she's probably gonna watch it. What's up?
Hey girl, our bad.
Because I get messages from exes all the time. Well, she wasn't an ex, but.
Are these people that you dated? Oh, now I'm prying.
Oh.
Like, are these people that you dated because you've met them on social media?
Yeah.
Shoot your shot, girl, because clearly Edgar goes on these dates.
But to be fair, even before the whole social media thing, I was meeting girls on social media. You know, it wasn't.
Period.
Like, yeah, it wasn't because
you live in Idaho. What's there to do in Idaho?
She gives me shit about Idaho all the time.
I'm like, what's over there? He's like, yeah, you should visit Idaho. I'm like, absolutely not. I'll visit Colorado. I'll visit Montana. What the fuck? I'm not going to know Idaho.
But my ex, she was actually from Dallas, and I met her through social media. And this was before I was doing social media like this. And so, because it's another dating platform. You just get, I tell people it's a good and a bad thing, because you get to meet people you would have never met before because they're far away. But now you have access to a lot of people. And so like, depending on the guy, is like, yeah, he's talking to you, but he's probably also talking to her, you know, and like, cause they live in different states. Of course they don't know each other, you know, so that's why. But yes, I've met the majority of the girls from social media, because people know, especially where I'm from, I don't date girls from where I'm from. So
because everybody's probably dated them, because it's a small town, because why would anybody go there?
That, and like exes can't get, it's weird, like if I don't know the other ex, I really don't get ex problems, you know. But it's when like you've seen this person around, or like around town or something like that, that's when they start giving you issues, like their exes. And they'll be like, why are you talking to him? Why are you talking to him? The last girl I tried talking to, her ex showed up at the gym trying to fight me, like, and I'm just like, really, at the gym? Like,
I'm like, zoom in on that.
Yeah, like,
just kidding.
But that's why I don't date girls from there. I've never gone like talked to a girl outside and had issues with exes, because when you don't know them and they don't know anything. Yeah, there's no like, he's a bad person. Well, shit, you don't know me. You know, like, you don't know me. And then when you don't know that person, there really isn't that like issues. Like my ex, her man tried doing something, and I kind of like, hey bro, like that's not gonna happen. And he like stopped. Yeah, because he didn't know, like, you know, like, is this guy serious? Is he really gonna fuck me? I didn't say I was gonna fuck him up, you know, but I was pretty stern about it. I was like, hey bro, like none of that is gonna happen. Yeah. And he didn't respond, but it stopped. Yeah. Because kind of like, is he gonna mess me up? You know, or
yeah, like what the hell was that?
Yeah, I don't know him. Like, what is his reputation like? Yeah, or anything like that. So I prefer not to date girls from where I'm from.
From where you're from. Okay, so since you do kind of date girls on social media. I told Edgar that he didn't get to just ask me questions today. I'm asking questions too. So, I know that you're not looking to seriously date at the moment, but what would your ideal girl be? Essentially not ideal, because nobody's gonna be perfect, but what's your like criteria? Because I know some of the girls want to see if they check those boxes.
It's actually really simple, but it's a lot harder to find than what people think. And I always say, like, I want to experience life with somebody, like, who wants to experience life. Like, hey, like the other day I was watching the Moab swing out in Utah. Like, you jump off the cliff and like you swing into the cliff.
That sounds insane.
I would want somebody to be like, yeah, let's try it. Not like, hell no. So someone who wants to try things. And me, I would be like, yeah, let's try it. If you don't like it, cool.
Are you big on looks? Because I think this is what the girls want to know.
It doesn't matter who you are. You have to be attracted to them in some way.
Yes, absolutely.
And so,
do you have a type?
All my exes.
Because we need to know if you guys fit in. Like, that way you guys know, like, shoot your shot or not. So. Why are you turning red?
No, the absolutely no.
Edgar's turning red.
The no, like, what they have to have is a beautiful smile. Like, if you don't have that, it's a no for me. Like, I don't.
Okay.
So a beautiful smile, and then from there, people always like, do you date thicker girls? Do you date skinnier girls? I like to go on hikes, and so like I would want whoever I'm with to be able to want to go and not it be a physical toll.
So somebody who has
who's active.
Who's active.
Because there's
that doesn't mean that you're like skinny,
Exactly.
but that doesn't mean that you're like, you know.
This girl that I was talking to, she was like on the thicker side too, but she was like pretty active. Like, she did a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
And that's why I said, like, it's hard to say, because there's no like, she has to do this, she has to look like this, she has to have this. No, because like, say that's your type, right? But then like this girl comes along and she's nothing like that, but you really like her, and you're like, well, that's not my type. That's why I really don't have a type. Just someone who actually wants to experience life, because you tell them, hey, like, have you ever tried this? And they're like, oh no, let's go try it. Food, nah. Instead of, have you ever had it? No. Then how do you know you don't like it? You know, like.
Do you stick to like a certain race, or are you open to everybody, or? So
my actual girlfriends have all been Latinas.
Okay.
But I have like gone out on dates and been like talking to like there was black girls, Asian, like white girls. Like, I've never had like, oh, they have to be Latinas.
Oh, okay.
But what I do like about Latinas is that they can have a conversation with my mom. You know, and
for longevity.
Yeah, exactly. So like, I like it. Like, my ex, like, she would talk to my mom just fine.
Yeah.
Like, no issue, because she was fluent in Spanish. So if you're not, are you going to be that awkward person that shows up? Because it's happened. My older brother had an ex that didn't really speak. Well, she was white. She didn't understand nothing that was going on at the family party.
Yeah, she's just
sitting there.
Yeah.
You know, so I wouldn't want that. I want somebody to be able to talk to my parents. And my dad, he speaks fluent English, so it's fine. It's my mom though. Like, that's a big thing for me, is like, you have to be able to have a conversation with my mom. So that's huge for me, because obviously, like, we love our moms. You know, we love our parents.
Obsessed with my mom.
And so if you can't have a conversation with my mom, that's kind of a big deal with me. Like, because I would want you guys to get along. And that, I had a TikTok the other day, like, somebody asked a question. They're like, hey, like, the guy I'm talking to, I think he was Serbian. And she's like, I really don't understand. I was like, if you really like this person and you want to have like be involved in the conversations, this is a perfect time to pick up a new language.
Yep.
If you really like this person.
Yep.
Because imagine like if their parents, their family saw you learn the language to be able to communicate with them, they would be like, I like her. I like her because she's putting in the effort to like get us to like her too, you know? So I think those are definitely like, you got to be able to talk to my mom. And
you guys listening?
You got to have
listening?
You got to have to be able to have a great conversation, because I would not want to take you over to meet my parents and then be like, this is so-and-so. She don't understand what you're talking about, you know, but this is her, you know.
Yeah.
And I've never done that. There's only 2 girls that have ever met my mom. One of them because we were together for a long time, and then the other one because we happened to be at the same wedding. And so I wasn't gonna be like, hey, this is my friend, because she would have hated me. But I was like, hey, this is my girlfriend. And they're like, I'm like, this is my parents. That's the only reason that happened, because we broke up like maybe like a month later.
Oh, okay.
So
it's kind of inevitable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I didn't want to be rude. My parents were right
I
there.
mean, imagine if you would have known that you were going to break up a month later, you would have just been like, it was my friend.
Yeah. And so I didn't want to be rude like that. But again, right now, I'm not in the position to give somebody the time, you know, because I know some people require a lot of time.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying don't require a lot of time. Like whatever you require from a guy,
require that.
Don't accept nothing less. I just can't give that to you like right now. So if that's something you're looking for, I'm the wrong guy right now, because I'm on hustle mode. But a lot of guys aren't going to tell you that. A lot of guys are going to be like, yeah, let's see where it goes. But then in their head, they already know they're not.
But if they're not telling you, their actions are going to tell you.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Because even you saying like, okay, I'm straight up and I'm honest, like I don't have the time. But if you're working 24/7, that's going to give me the sign that you don't have a lot of time, you know? Just pay attention, I guess, to like how he moves, because you're going to know regardless if he doesn't tell you or not. You're going to know in the way that he moves and the way that he treats you.
Yeah, and this goes for any guy. I mean, we've talked about it before, like somebody's actions, somebody's actions is gonna tell you exactly how they feel towards you. Like I can tell, say I'm trying to get to know you, right? I can tell you how much I'm gonna treat you like a queen, how I'm gonna do this for you, but my actions are like, he never calls me, he never tries to see me, he like every now and then like
I don't feel like much of a queen.
Yeah, he bails on me all the time, like, but yeah, he like, you're the love of my life, I'm gonna treat you like this. And I'm like, yeah, but anybody can tell you that.
Yeah.
I can tell you that. Give me a call, I'll tell you that right now. Like,
yeah, call me too, I'll tell you that too. Like,
you know,
I'm gonna cook for you.
Yeah, but like, what are they doing? You know, like that's gonna tell you exactly how they feel towards you. And that's why I'm like, don't, cause some like, oh, like he says this, but then like his actions don't say that. But when they're in person, like when they actually on a date, he's great. And I'm like, why do you think he's great? Because he's trying to get laid. I was like, so he's gonna be on his best behavior in person, because he doesn't want to go home knowing that he didn't get none. And so of course he's gonna be all great, he's gonna have a great conversation, because
be all into you, be all into the moment.
And then after that, it goes right back to the same thing, because they got what they wanted. And now you're like, cool, whatever, I'll just hit her up when I hit her up. So
agreed.
So actions is a big thing. And then like I understand why some people don't want to date right now, because guys are like basically the girl now. Like they want everything to be, they want to get chased. They want to like the girl to take control, instead of being like, hey, we're gonna go to dinner here and we're gonna do this. The guy's like, so where do you want to go? Like I'm like, people do that? You know what I mean? Like people do that. Girls are like, is it okay if we go 50-50 on the bill on the first date?
Oh.
I'm like, I have never in my life gone on a first date and let a girl pay. Like, I don't care what. Like, if I would have forgotten my wallet, I would have called somebody and be like, yo, bring my wallet now. Like, I need it now. Like, there's no way this girl's gonna pay for me. You know, luckily that's never happened. But right now, I'm like, I don't know how the guys have the nerve to do that.
I honestly think that scenario is very prevalent in like the younger ages. Like what you're explaining, like the very sassy man era. I feel like it's like the generation like right beneath us. Because how old are you?
35.
35. Okay, I'm gonna be 35 this year too, and I feel like it's like 30 and below.
Yeah.
That's very like in their sassy men era. And then of course you do come across older men that are immature. But you could tell right away when an older man is immature.
Yeah.
In the way that he speaks, the way that he expresses himself, the way that he feels about women, because he probably saw his mom like struggling, so he expects his woman to see his woman struggling, especially like in the Latino community. But I feel like that scenario is more prominent in people that are like 31 and under, because I feel like at my age I really haven't I have talked to some men that are like sassier, but for the most part, the men that I've dated, and I dated a lot last year. Like I went on so many dates last year with so many people. It was really fun. But I didn't really, out of all of those, let's say if I were to put a percentage, I would put like 10% of those were like sassy. Other than that, they were like men.
Yeah.
Like men. And I think that the more that you tell yourself that, oh, dating sucks and dating is this and dating's whack right now and all the men are sassy, the more you put that into your head, the less opportunity you're gonna give yourself to find somebody who is not sassy, because you're telling yourself that it doesn't exist. And there's so much power in your tongue and the things that you say and the things that you believe, that whatever you say starts to become your reality. Instead of you telling yourself that there is a good man out there for me, there are plenty of good men. There are a limitless amount of options that have great things to offer me. Instead of you doing that, you're doing the opposite, and that's what you're inviting into your life, because there's power in your tongue. You can do the opposite and express yourself positively about people and about the opportunities that you'll have with men, and that's what you're gonna invite into your life, because you truly believe that they're good men. You're never gonna catch me saying, like, I may say to my friends jokingly, or when you're like, oh, men are trash, or like my girlfriend's everything, like playing around. But to be honest with you, like, do I believe that? Absolutely not. Like, I believe that there are good men out there because I've seen them. Because I've seen Edgar, you're a good guy too, but you just are not in the place to date. You know what I mean? Like, but your headspace is in the right place. Maybe right now you're not in that place because what you're building on your finances. You're trying to find different streams of income, and guess who's gonna benefit from that?
Future wifey.
Your future wife. When you find your wife, she's gonna be able to be at home, raise your kids at home, because you've already done the work to provide, to create that environment for them, because you've already built yourself up as a man. You know what I mean? And so if you guys continue to believe that dating is trash and there's no good men out there and all these things, then you're never gonna find them. And also, if you're under the age of 30, I highly, highly suggest that you spend your 20s to your 30s investing in yourself and kind of realizing yourself, figuring out who you are, what you really want out of life. Because I promise you that when you hit 30, you start to look back and be like, shit, I really didn't know what the fuck I was talking about. Like, you really like look at your life and you're like, I really thought.
Yeah.
I really thought I knew. And you really didn't.
Yeah, and it wasn't, that's why I always tell people too, like, I actually prefer Edgar at this age than in his 20s.
Fuck yeah, I love me at this age. The bitch from even 3-4 years ago, I would never.
Yeah, and I'm exactly the same way. And then also, girls, like, they get stuck on the one person that asked them out. Like, meaning, like, you know how like you went on multiple dates, and that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to see what's out there, what's gonna work for you. Like, maybe you didn't like this guy for this reason, this guy, but somebody, like, a lot of the times girls will go on a date with somebody and they feel like that's the person now, like, no matter what, because women like to romanticize. And I get it. We go out with somebody, we feel like the vibe is there, the connection is there, and we romanticize everything about that person instead of taking them at face value. So then we start to build these stories in our mind. I'm guilty, I've done it. That's why I'm saying I can speak from experience, that I've done it before, until I learned, obviously, as I got older. But we start to romanticize somebody instead of really seeing them for who they are. We start to believe the story that we tell ourselves more than what we see in front of us. And that's where we get ourselves in trouble, because then we start to believe this and we start to think to ourselves, okay, if he can just do this, if he can just find himself in this way, then we will be great. Rather than just seeing things at face value and saying, you know what, who this man is in this time in his life does not align with what I want for myself, so I need to remove myself. We think more of like, well, he can become this, and you really don't know if he can become that. Does he have the emotional capacity to become the man that you have fantasized him to be? You don't know that. But he's shown you otherwise, and even though he's shown you otherwise, you don't remove yourself, because
you prefer to live in the fantasy and what you romanticize rather than live in the reality. And that's where a lot of us fail. That's where we end up getting hurt. That's where we end up staying in relationships longer than we should. And we end up investing more time. And then before we know it, so much time has gone by that we've completely lost ourselves in this relationship or in this situationship. And we don't even know where to pick up the pieces and how this all happened. And it's literally because we live in this fantasy that we create rather than living in the reality. And that's what men do better at than women, is that they can go out with somebody and not romanticize anything. Like, oh, that was fun. And that's it. That was fun. And that's why they say that a lot of men know pretty early on if they want to pursue something serious with somebody or if they don't, because they don't romanticize. Yeah, they're just like, is this what I want for myself right now? Nah.
And they get stuck like thinking, because the guy's probably breadcrumbing her, dragging her along because she's just a placeholder. And I think that's why people love when they ask questions to me, because I'm straight up honest. I was like, sounds like you're a placeholder. I'm not gonna be like, well, it kind of like, I know you're an amazing woman. No, like he's literally only like there when he needs something from you.
You know what, too? Now that you say that, I just want to give you guys like some real quick advice too. I know people, there's so many rules, right? Because now you're bringing up like placeholder, breadcrumbing, and all these things. And I totally get it. Like there's so many rules, there's so many perspectives on dating. There's so many like, don't do this, do that. If he does this, it means this. If he does that, it means that. If she does this, she means that. Like there's so many like that you don't even know anymore like what to believe. The best advice I could give you when it comes to dating is authentically be yourself, be fully invested in everything that you're doing, and be so self-aware that when you see something that doesn't align with you, always learn or know to choose yourself. So basically what I'm trying to say is be fully invested and immersed in every situation to truly live, because then you're just playing all these games back and forth, and it's like, what do you gain from playing the same game that they play?
Yeah,
you just waste your time. Like you don't gain anything from playing the same games.
No, you
want to push it? Oh, you don't gain anything from playing the same games that these people are playing. Like nothing at all. So instead, be fully immersed, be genuinely yourself. I'm not saying like give all of yourself right off the bat at this moment, but be fully immersed and show your true colors and all of that stuff without playing all these games. And at least you know that if it didn't work out and you choose yourself and walk away from a situationship or a dating relationship, then you know that you did it authentically being you and like not playing any games. And then you could walk away peacefully, essentially. That's my best dating advice, because again, I feel like there's so many rules and so much of this like placeholder and breadcrumbing and like all these terms and like.
Because the reason I bring that up, and it's great that you're here to talk about it, because some of these girls talk about how this girl was in a like situationship for like 5 years, and I'm like, that's why like when people ask me questions on live now, they're like, oh, like how do I get myself out of a situationship? Now my first question is like, how long have you been together? Because some of these girls will be like, oh, we've been together for 5 years. I'm like, girl, you just said, like, say it out loud. I've been in a situationship for 5 years. I was like, that man is not being serious about you. Like, he's probably in a relationship with somebody else, and then like
5 years.
And that's not even the craziest one. There was one that is 20 years. And they're like, will it ever be? Will it ever be serious? You tell me.
Like sometimes I feel like the best advice you can give yourself if you're looking for advice on like something that you're going through is sit down and think about the whole situation as if it were one of your friends and look at it from the outside. And then tell yourself like, okay, you know, like what would you tell that friend? What would you tell her if she knew the whole, like all of your relationship, or if you knew all of her relationship and it was exactly like what you're going through? What would you tell her? Then I feel like when you can make yourself, or like remove yourself from your situation and look like outside of the box, then you really know like, oh, I should be doing this, or I shouldn't be doing that.
Oh, keep going.
Okay. I'm like,
keep going.
Like, you distracted me. I forgot what I was saying.
Sorry, it's because I don't get to see her all the time, right?
Yeah.
So like, we got to take advantage.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, but that's what I was thinking, that if you've been in a situationship for a really long time, or whatever, if you find yourself questioning whatever position you're in with somebody, a really good thing to do is to pull yourself out of it, look outside of the box, even if you have to journal it, like write down like, been in this situationship for 5 years. What have I got out of it? How does this person really treat me? And then if you can reread that, and if you were handing that over to a friend and giving that, or that friend was giving you advice, do that same thing for yourself. Like a good way to reflect is to look outside of the box.
Yeah, and then kind of like you said, saying it out loud, because it's different when you say it out loud and you realize either one, how dumb it sounds.
Yeah.
You know, like, because when you think about it, I had this conversation with you the other day, or yesterday, is like, you can think about something and it really doesn't hit you. The moment you say it out loud, it has like a whole different effect.
Yeah, and there's so many reflective things that you could do too. Another good one that I learned in therapy that's like a really good way to reflect is like, would you be okay accepting this for like your younger self? Mm-hmm. Like, would you let the little you down in that way? Like when you think about yourself, because I feel like I learned it in therapy, that when you look at yourself as like a small child and stuff, like you give yourself so much more grace, because it's like you're so innocent. Like, would you want them to go through that?
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't you want to protect them from anything bad that could potentially happen to them? Wouldn't you want to protect that little person from like all this angst and stress and things that are beneath them? You want the best for even a stranger that's a child. So if you can see yourself in that way, then you can really learn to love yourself a lot more and remove yourself from these situations that are really beneath you.
Mm-hmm. So, because I get this a lot. Usually I like to like ask questions and stuff based off some of the more popular videos that I get on TikTok. Mm-hmm. What advice can you give to like a girl looking to date in 2024? Like what to look out for? What are some like red flags, or maybe just some boundaries that people have, or that you have for yourself? Just because, again, we were talking about a little bit ago. It's like how some girls are like, men are trash, men are this, you know. But what should they be looking out for if they're trying to date? That way they don't get stuck in a situationship or in like a placeholder type of vibe. I
think honestly, the number one thing that you can do so that you don't get stuck in these things is really know yourself. Mm-hmm. So I think if anything, if you continue to find yourself in these positions where your like standards are being compromised, is because you're lacking in self. So I think a big thing that you could do is definitely work on yourself some more. Invest more time in yourself, date yourself some more, because the more you do that and the more you love on yourself, the less you accept from other people that is like treatment that is beneath you. Mm-hmm. So the more that you pour into yourself, then you'll be able to kind of, I don't know, like you'll be able to separate yourself from people that are not giving you what you could give yourself. Yeah. Just like you said, you being single, you feel better because you know that a lot of these relationships really can't give you more than what you give yourself. Yeah, and I love that you bring that up, because I've seen that on your TikToks, is you date yourself. Oh yeah, all the time. Like, and that's what I always try to push on people. It's a little bit harder for girls, because the reason I say that, because guys are creeps, right? Mm-hmm. For me, it's easier. I can go over here and not get like bugged by anybody. You can go over here, might be a guy like tells you something like, damn girl, or you know what I mean, like call you. Dude, I have a huge tip. If you want to date yourself, or you want to go to like a restaurant by yourself or anything like that, take some headphones. Even if you don't put anything on the headphones, when I take myself to breakfast, which I do a lot, I love to take myself to breakfast, it's like my favorite thing. I take my headphones and nobody talks to you. And like, you literally could be in silence. You don't have to turn them on, but you could just be sitting there, or you could be scrolling, watching something. Nobody will talk to you. Even when I'm at the gym, that's my me time, right? And I do a really good job of not making eye contact with anybody.
That's why you wear hats.
And that's why I wear hats too. That's why I wear hats too, because it's like blinders, right? And I really try not to make eye contact with anybody, because I don't want to give that invitation for you to come talk to me, because I'm in my me time. This is my me time, me investing in myself. This is my time to exert any bent up energy that I'm like harboring inside of me, whether it's any frustrations or just letting stress out. And I don't need you to invade that space. Now, if I'm feeling the opposite and like I want to be inviting, or like, oh, there's somebody that I see all the time that I want to have conversation with maybe one day, then I'll make eye contact. But really, like, just you and nature and the sky and the moon and the fucking trees, and like even at the gym, you know, like
just be aware
your song, you know.
Just be aware of your surroundings, because again, you never know. But that's a good tip. It's hard for me to give a girl tips on how to date yourself, because I know how some guys are. Like, they're just out there being creeps. Like, they'll see you walk, you know, like they'll try to flirt with you, they'll try to talk to you when that's not what you're trying to invite in. So like wearing headphones, that can help, because they're like, even if they said something towards you, you could just like keep walking, because why? I'm listening to music, I'm not paying attention to you.
Yeah,
you know,
and
like,
they could be silent. Yeah.
So like that for sure. So like those are great tips for, especially for the ladies, because it's easier for a guy, because I'm not gonna go somewhere and some girl's gonna be like, yo, what's up? Like, you know, like, and talk to you like how some guys talk to you. So I'm glad you give them that tip. And just, for me, it's always like, be safe.
Yeah.
Know your surroundings, like who's around, like, because at the same time, you don't want anything bad to happen to you.
Yeah, but you could go to public places. Like, I've done a lot of like, even not just to restaurants, you know, but like even when you walk around the mall, like, you don't have to entertain anybody who's like trying to talk to you. Be like, no, I'm not interested. Or another easy answer is, I'm married.
That too.
That's it. It's like, I'm married, sorry. There's some guys that'll be like, well, you can't have friends if you're married. You're like, no, I can't have friends if I'm married. Fool, what the hell? But other than that, like, there's really not that many people that push that boundary. Like, no, I'm sorry, I have a boyfriend, but thank you so much. And keep it moving.
Yeah.
That's a good way to get people off of you. It's like, oh, no, sorry, I'm whatever. Bye. And then also too, like, going to the beach by yourself and sitting just in the sun, like, by yourself, nobody's really gonna come up to you. Unless you're out there like trying to be fucking OnlyFans or some shit, I don't know.
Yeah.
But other than that, if you're just out there chilling, like, nobody's gonna come bother you. Like, that's a good way to date yourself. Is
what would you tell, because some people don't want to do it, not because of that, because they feel like they're gonna get judged because they're out by themselves, meaning like they're gonna be like, they're gonna think I'm a loser, or like, this person has no friends, because people think of that.
right. And I think that that has a lot to do with where you are in your own self-love, that you haven't really found yourself. And I think that if you can't go outside and be alone, or if you can't be alone with your thoughts, it means you have a lot more self-reflection to do than you are even aware of. So I think my best advice for that is honestly to seek professional help, probably, because you're not going to be able to break out of that shell until somebody actually teaches you and gives you tools to break out of that shell. Or even if you want to go to YouTube University and find ways to like get more comfortable with being out by yourself, then there's no way that you're gonna be able to do it unless you just push that boundary and actually do it. Like, you just gotta do it. I think that for me, I never struggled with that, because I fucking love being by myself. Ever since I was a kid, like, I love being by myself. Like, don't fucking talk to me. Like, I like being alone. And I think that for most people, that's very hard to understand, because a lot of people require somebody's company to do anything. And I like to be by myself.
Yeah, and I'm exactly the same way. 98% of my day, mainly because I don't have kids or anything like that.
Yeah.
So I'm by myself, like,
yeah.
And so, but that doesn't, because I've learned how to be by myself, and when you learn that you don't require other people to do things, you become like this next level person. Because like, before, some people don't travel because they require somebody to go with them. Some people don't go on dates like by themselves because they require a friend to go with them, or somebody to go with them, or someone to take them. Because I do it all the time too. Like, if I want to go eat something, I take myself. Like,
Me too. If I see something on TikTok and I want to try it, I'm not waiting for nobody.
And most people would not try that or experience that because they're waiting for somebody to their schedule to align with you. But then once I learned being by myself, like people like, you don't get lonely. Of course, every now and then, like it's cool to like have somebody to talk to and things like that. And don't get me wrong, I talk to people.
Yeah.
But I don't require somebody to do something. People like, you travel everywhere by yourself? Yeah. Why not? Like, if I were to wait for somebody to be like, yeah, let's do it, I wouldn't go anywhere.
You know what? Right now that you bring that up, this is gonna be like totally sidebar off topic kind of, but I just came across somebody's TikTok last night, and it's this girl who literally said that like God told her she needed to book a flight. I don't know if you've seen it, the TikTok is going viral, that she needed to book a flight to Orlando, and that's it. And like she needs to go there. And like out of obedience, she booked a flight to Orlando. She ended up in Fort Lauderdale, and like she's alone and basically like in obedience to like whatever God told her to do, right? And it just like goes to show that if you can find strength in like God or whatever you believe in, then you can find a lot of strength to like do these things that are like outside of the box, outside of the norm, like, and spend that time alone or spend that time in whatever your belief system is. And I think that that's really beautiful, that if you can do these things by yourself and believe that you're being protected and believe that you're where you're supposed to be, like you can learn so much about yourself and experience so much more that life has to offer. So it's really cool that you do that. Because I went to Guadalajara by myself last year. I don't know if you guys know that.
Yeah, I remember that.
But I went to Guadalajara by myself last year, and I was everywhere by myself, and people were like, you're in an Uber by yourself? Like, you're in this by yourself? And I'm like, yeah. And if this is supposed to be the fucking end of me, then this is going to be the end of me, you know? But if not, like, I want to enjoy my life. Like, I'm so sick of waiting for people to do things. And you really have to let go of the idea that you need somebody for everything.
Yeah, and like it comes to like, if like the first time that we met, if I would have waited for somebody to come with me, we would have never met, and like we would have never gotten to.
No, because who the hell is gonna come from Idaho?
Yeah, me. Like everyone thinks I'm not from Idaho to begin with, so like, there's that too.
I'm like, Idaho.
So that's why I always tell people, like, experience, like I've even told people to go check out your profile because you do it very well. Like you take yourself on a solo date and you go, but the biggest thing that I can give like as advice, I was like, just, yeah, of course, do this stuff by yourself, but always make sure like know your surroundings, and like if you can have some sort of protection. I'm not saying like carry a gun, I'm saying maybe some pepper spray, maybe a knife, anything, just in case.
Dude, and let me tell you, I am the most Dodo Land girl ever. Like I'm like I'm just like in the clouds all the time. So if I could do it, you guys could do it, because I'm literally the girl that's like, oh shit, how long has that car been sitting there? You know, like, but when I'm out doing things by myself, I am paying attention. I am aware. I am looking behind me. I am making sure that nobody's following me. Like, you can do it, like, and you can carry pepper spray. I have a pepper spray in my car. Like, I have like this little kit. I have a pepper spray thing in my car that has like a little knife thingy, like just a bunch of little things, a little light.
Just in case.
Just in case. Just in case. Like, you just never know. And you can do it, but
because I don't tell people to be like me, because I'm super observant. Like when I walk by, I make like, first I look to see if they have like anything like you can tell when somebody's carrying a gun. Well, most people can tell. Like you can tell like where they're carrying a gun, like if they are, like what's in their hands, how many people are behind me, like how many people are in front of me, like are they, you know what I mean? Like I start paying attention to all this stuff.
Damn,
so, like,
you're crazy.
When I went to go get breakfast, I was like, there's one person behind me, like, and I just kind of like look back to see like what they look like. I was like, yeah, it's not a threat.
In all fairness, this is LA though.
Yeah.
And there's like people running around screaming, like literally you could be on the corner and they're like, saying something crazy. The world is ending. Watch out, it's on fire. And you're just like, where's the fire? Like, what the? So, in all fairness, LA's a little different.
A little out there.
Yeah, it's a little wild.
But it's just like making sure you're just aware of your surroundings. So
definitely.
Something that I wanted to talk to you about is, are you like, what are some of the goals that you have for 2024? Because everyone has like their New Year's thing. Again, like even if
let me find out you guys are not keeping your promise for yourself for 2024, and we're gonna tussle.
Yeah, like what are some things that you hope to accomplish this year?
Like personal or professionally?
A little bit of both.
A little bit of both. Okay, so personally, some of my personal goals is I want to be officially divorced because my divorce decree isn't signed and we're still in that process, and I would really love for that part of my life to be completely over. That's like the biggest personal one. Another personal goal is my credit. I would like my credit to hit like closer to an 800. I just hit the 7. Like I just barely hit the 7, like by a hair. And I would like I feel like I'm just old, you know, like I fucking get excited about credit card rewards and shit. Like when I get cash back, I'm like, hell yeah, like
what's up?
Yeah, you know, I'm old, I'm excited about stuff like that. So that's another personal goal. And another personal goal is I really want to take dating very intentionally, because I would like to actually hopefully God places them in my life, God willing. If it's God's will to place that person in my life this year, I would really like for that to happen. So for God to transform me in whatever he feels that I haven't faced in myself or like improved on in myself. Obviously, I'm not going to be perfection, because I'm going to be on this earth for as long as God has me here, and I'm always going to be a work in progress, because we're always going to be evolving. But give me the whatever tools he feels I'm missing, or whatever, like show me, reveal to me what I need to work on, so that I could meet my person and be in the right headspace for them. I don't think that I'm in a bad headspace, but maybe there's something that I'm not seeing.
Yeah.
You know, or maybe it could be, or maybe I'm just perfect. Nah, I'm kidding. No, but maybe there's something that I'm missing, you know, that I would like to be faced with, so that I can be that much closer to meeting my person, because I would love to get remarried in 2 years, 3 years, and like have a family, like not start a new family, but like maybe blend a family, you know, and just have my actual person, the one that God ordained for me. So that's my personal goals. Some of my professional goals are definitely to monetize my social media in different ways, and really grow my social media platforms, get back on YouTube, invest more time in myself and personal branding for my professional career. I would also like to do some freelance work for maybe some med spas and things like that, to grow their social media, to add an added source of income. And then, because another one of my personal goals is to put my kids in Christian school, and it's very expensive. Very expensive. It's like $3,000 something per month, not including their extracurricular activities. And I don't really have the assistance of the co-parent in any of those things, because it's just not something that it's just not something that.
If you follow her TikTok, you know why.
Yeah, it just doesn't work. And I would love to do that for my kids. So I need to find ways to create more revenue for myself, so that I can do the things that I want for my kids, and the positions that I want to put them in for their future. So those are some of my goals. I don't know what some of yours are.
Personal goals is more like, if I want to be running at 100%, I need to make sure my body and mind is at 100%, meaning like we've talked about it, I need to get more sleep. I need to like...
You need more sleep, dude. I was like, you're literally doing yourself such a disservice with how little you sleep.
Yeah, and so that's why like focusing on things like that and how to take care of my body and mind, that way like if I want to be pushing my body or like whatever I'm doing at 110%, like let's make sure the body is there too, because you know, you eventually, like something could happen, like burnout, like you just overwork yourself, and you just like, you've seen people who just like do too much with very little rest, and they just like collapse.
Yes, and also too, you can't be at your best if you're not resting. Your body needs a day of rest. Your body needs a personal day. That's why they have the Sabbath, you know, like the day of rest. Like you need that time, and you have to trust that you can do so much more by giving yourself that space to rest.
And then just like that I want to work on for sure this year. So, but like professionally, it's just learning how to grow everything that I'm doing just bigger. You
Yeah.
know, like I've told you like the different ways that I was able to monetize things, and just because I see like what I can do, and my platform is this big. So imagine if I get it this big, like what it can be. But at the same time, you're gonna have to make sacrifices too. Like, am I gonna focus on this, or am I gonna be focusing on like, let me see how many girls I can get, let me see like all this stuff that I can do, and like distract myself with that.
Oh, that was a big thing that we talked about yesterday. We did talk about that I was telling him in my YOLO year, which was all these past 3 years, I was very YOLO. I was very like, whatever, just having such a great time, right? That it's so easy to get distracted when you're just having fun. When you're not necessarily being intentional or disciplined, it's so easy to move your attention to so many different things that you kind of lose focus and sight of the end goal. You're kind of like, oh, well, I'm still doing good. Like, I'm still doing great. Like, I'm doing good. Like, I'm good. And if you actually want more, then it's going to take you being disciplined and cutting out the things from your life that are not allowing you to elevate to that next place. If you want more.
Yeah.
Because you can be happy where you are and enjoy it. You can have different eras of your life. I had that era already, and now, like I said, I'm in that era where you are too, that you kind of want more, and it's like you have to limit the distractions.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with celebrating some of your victories.
Yeah.
But some people celebrate them.
For like 10 months.
And for every little reason, like, hey, we got 100 views on a video. Let's go celebrate.
Like, it's Friday. Let's go take a shot. You know, like, it's like you have to be more disciplined, because that distraction causes you to lose focus, and then it's kind of hard to get back into the swing. And when you get back into the swing, it's the next weekend again.
Yeah, and like most people would be like, they come out here. Like, I've been very fortunate enough that TikTok was paid for my entire trip, so I could easily been like, I'm just gonna go out here and like just hang out.
Yeah.
Instead, I'm just like messaging you. I was like, hey, let's do a podcast. Let's do this.
Like, we're working.
Yeah, and then I also messaged you, and I told you about Melissa too. Like, which she's also great. I'm gonna ask her some spicy questions later too, so stay tuned for that. But just like working, and luckily enough, like, this is fun. Like,
Right.
Yes, it's work at the end of the day. I still gotta edit. I still gotta do all that stuff. But like, we see like where it can take you, you know, and
Yes.
like if you do it right and don't get super distracted, because it's easy to get distracted. Of course, have fun every now and then.
Especially too with something that requires your own personal discipline.
Yeah.
Where you're not like, who's your boss?
Yeah, like, you have to be motivated on your own.
Yeah.
And I was talking to a buddy, and he was just like, bro, like, I've never met somebody like you. You're just like on at all times. Like, you're on, you're doing something. Like, they've never. I saw him the other day, and he's like, hey, you finally like see yourself. I was like, I'm always moving. I'm always doing stuff. I'm always like. Right now, you happen to see me because we're in the same place. I was like, but right after this, I'm gonna go do this. I'm gonna go do this. I'm gonna do this. That's why, like, I also say, like, if somebody's meant for me, they're gonna be put in my path.
Right.
Like, I'm gonna be doing something, and then say something say I do an event one day, right? And then a girl shows up doing an event too. Then we just hit it off that way. You never know. Like, that could be how it is. But me just like waiting around or like scrolling social media to see who I'm gonna date next and stuff like that.
What a waste of time.
Yeah, right?
What a waste of time. You know, I did a fun series last year.
That way they can watch the podcast.
I did a fun series last year where I did like a dating series, right? I did it for dating apps, right? So I tried like Hinge, I tried Bumble, I tried Tinder, and like I just was like scrolling and creating content around that, right? And what a waste of freaking time. Like, literally, what a waste of time, because number one, you're literally judging somebody based off a picture, right? And some people suck at picking their own pictures. Like, some people just suck at picking their own pictures.
There's no happy medium. Meaning, like, if you suck at picking your pictures, you're gonna judge them that.
Yes.
Or if they get like super professional pictures, you're gonna be like, chill out, dude.
Yes, yes. Or like the selfie angle. I don't know. It's just like a lot of room for judgment, right? So like, that's number one. Number two, the amount of time you waste skipping through profiles. Granted, for me, it was not a waste because it was an investment of my time for content, which brings me a return. But for a lot of you guys that are just wasting your time doing that, like, pick up a fucking book. Like, pick up a book, learn about yourself. pick up self-help books in that time rather than picking up these apps because they're really going to get you nowhere, but you know what's going to get you somewhere is learning about yourself, investing in yourself, doing some self-development so that when you go outside and you actually meet people, you can actually have real conversations, ask real questions that will actually get you places and will help you better understand yourself so that you don't waste your time with people who are not worthy of your time. So all of these apps and things like that that you're consuming and wasting your time on are really not to your benefit. Go outside, get some fresh air. Do you know that a lot of people are depressed or have so much anxiety, crippling anxiety because you don't go outside enough?
Yeah.
You don't go outside and get fresh air. You don't go outside and let the sun kiss your skin. You don't go outside and listen to the birds chirp and increase your frequency. Like, what are you doing? Instead, you're inside consuming this pointless content, or not pointless content, but pointless scrolling without really investing that time into yourself. So I think that like these dating apps and like these things that you...
There should be a category that says, how many books did you read last year?
Yeah.
And it has to be verified, like through...
Yeah, like give me a summary. Like give me a summary.
I'm glad you bring that up because I do a lot of audiobooks just because I don't
You're
have
on the
time.
go, yeah.
Yeah, and so like when I'm doing long stretches of cardio or things like that, I can just put that on and like really pay attention to it. And so that books help a lot, especially if you're like struggle having conversations, because if you pick a topic, I may know a little bit of it and I can hold a conversation.
Yeah.
Compared to being like, I don't know what that is.
And books help with self-reflection.
That and I always recommend this book. So if you guys are listening, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I don't know if you've ever read it.
I haven't read it, but I just bought it.
That book was the first book that I was like, hopefully this book helps me. Because somebody recommended it to me, and that book completely changed my life. Because I'm not saying I agreed with everything, but some of the core like principles in it, I was like, I'm doing that. Like I'm doing that like exactly like that. That's why like I can't elevate my financials to here. You know, and as soon as I like cut and stop doing that, you just see everything else just like go up and you're just like, what the fuck?
Well, since you're giving a book rec, I have a big one for you guys and you can listen to it on YouTube. The 4 Agreements. That book is life-changing because it teaches you to not take anything personal and to allow life and people to be what they are and not take it personally, because when you take it personally, it impacts you differently. I don't know, that book, I could listen to it on YouTube repeatedly because it just puts you back in a good frame of mind to understand that what people do has nothing to do with you, and the more you can let that go and let people be, and you just let people be who they are, the less attachment you have to people. And that's like, you guys, it's life-changing to be able to detach from people. And
one thing I say is like, yes, we could recommend these books, but there's gonna be that book that you pick up
that's gonna be life-changing for you.
That hits you different.
Yeah.
This one hit me like that. That one hit you like that.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why like those books came into your life for a reason at that time. And so like if someone keeps recommending this book, this may be a sign that someone's trying to tell me, read this book.
I should probably pick that up.
Yeah, I should probably pick that up, because after I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, I listened to it, but I was like, I'm messing up in so many places. I'm surrounding myself by the wrong people. I'm asking the wrong people for financial advice, because we listen to our parents a lot.
Right.
And so I'm not saying my parents are doing bad. They're doing great. But if I'm trying to get up here, they can't give me the tools I need to get up here. So instead, I need to put myself around the people who have the tools to help me get there. And that's what I've done. That's why like people are like, you're involved in this, you're involved in that. And it's helped a lot. And so that's why I always recommend people to hit that record. Just pick up books. There was that one year I was like super heavy into books, and I read a total of 62 books in 1 year. And I was gonna try to beat that goal, but unfortunately, like when you start,
that's a lot of books, by the way.
When you start getting busy, you have to like sacrifice things here and there. And so I still listen to books, but I also do a mixture, because too many self-help books is bad, because it becomes repetitive. And so sometimes I do some like nonfiction or like someone's biography. Like I absolutely love if you ever get a chance, listen to Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey on Audible. Don't read it. Listen to it because he narrates it and he puts his personality into it and his whole life story. I've listened to that book probably 3 times now.
Yeah.
It's just like a whole different vibe because I had a buddy who read it. He's like, it's a great book. I was like, listen to it. And he listened to it. He's like, it's like a whole different book.
Yeah.
Because, you know, he puts his like his personality into it. You know how he is. He's the all right, and things like that. So that's why I always say, like, do a mixture because people are like, what's the next 10 self-help books? Like, well, do like a biography on somebody.
No, yeah, like have a little fun with it. And also too, if you do that, you start to learn to better articulate yourself. Your vocabulary gets so much better, and
your communication skills
get better, and you just become more effective at overall communication. And I think it's a great thing for you to do for yourself, period, not just reading self-help. So I agree.
So I know we've been going for a while. I know you got things to do, but I do have a question for you.
Run it.
Because we're going to completely change it, the topic. How long, because this has actually been popular on the TikToks.
Not the TikToks.
Should you wait to hook up with somebody? Like, is it okay to hook up with them on the first date?
You mean like intimacy-wise? Yeah. Oh, dude, I feel like I'm going to get so much heat for this because I'm not.
I always say go based off the vibes. Like, you're an adult.
Right.
You can make your decisions.
Right.
And if, depending on how he was before, because I'll put this example out there. Like when I met my ex from Dallas, we had met in Denver. She's from Texas, I'm from Idaho, but she was gonna go to Denver, and then my sister at the time lived in Denver, so I was like, I'll just meet you there, I'll go see my sister. And so we met there, and I had a whole date planned. Like we did this. I surprised her with some stuff. Like everything was going great. Like the date was just like amazing, like great conversation. And then afterwards, like went to dinner, and then we went back to my Airbnb, and then things just happened. Like everything just was vibey. Like, and it was great. We dated for like a year and a half after that. So that's why I'm like, not saying it's bad to hook up, but like if everything is going great, then why not? You're an adult. She's an adult.
Yeah, so my answer is not going to be based on like, oh my gosh, if I sleep with him on the first night, is he going to think this of me? My answer is not based on the man's perspective of me. So my answer is based on solely myself. So to give you guys an idea, I have been separated from my kid's father for 3 years now. It's been 3 years. In those 3 years, I've dated a lot. And to be very candid with you guys, like a lot. Like I've gone on multiple dates, and I've only shared intimacy with 2 people since then. One, which would have been obviously my boyfriend, and then somebody that I was very, very close to and that I felt safe with, right? And only those 2 people, regardless of how much chemistry I've had with multiple men and going on dates and things like that, because I do believe in the idea of people's energy attaching itself to you, and like you don't know what these people are carrying and from who, and I feel like it's opening a door to you that could be taking you in a different route that's not positive for you. And so I, especially now, even after my last experience, like, because like I said, I've only been with 2 people since then. Even after my last experience, I'd been talking to this person for like a whole year, like just kind of somebody that was consistent in my life, right? And even after that, now I feel like I want to be even more like, nope, I'm not giving myself away until like I'm about to get married type of vibe. And I'm not fully convicted in that. I'm like trying to figure out what my relationship is with God, and like trying to figure out that part of me, like that spiritual part of me. But like even as myself, I've always just in general been so afraid of like giving myself away to somebody who's unworthy of having me. Period. So this is not like having to do with what the man's gonna think of me. This is like my own personal conviction for myself. And now even more, now that I'm a little bit older and I've been through these experiences, and now that I'm like trying to become closer to God in my own way and in my own personal relationship, that I feel like I'm gonna be even more like, like even more closed off, because I get it, like we're all grown and we all have desires, and we all, trust me, the heat gets hotter when you get older. You really want, like if you thought in your 20s you want spicy time, let me tell you, in your 30s and in your mid 30s, and I've heard from women that your 40s is like prime time for women, you know, that it's like the shit is pulsing, okay? And I feel that, but even with that, I'm like just terrified of giving myself away to somebody who doesn't deserve me. Like I really think about things like, okay, yeah, we've been on 20 dates and, you know, and so what? Oh, you spent $50 on each date or $100 on each date, that equates $5,000 or whatever. Like, and like, you know that this is my body, this is my temple, this is so sacred to me. Like that intimacy is so sacred. Like I don't ever want somebody to be able to walk out and say like, yeah, I had that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I had that. Yeah, I had that. Or like be able to speak on me in that way, you know, especially now that I'm older and stuff. And I don't know, I'm just very, very cautious of whose energy I allow to be in that space and in that intimacy with me. So I think,
and a lot of girls get fooled in the beginning too, thinking that this person is for them, and then they get what they want, and then all of a sudden, oh, why did he change afterwards? Because that's all he wanted.
Yeah, and I learned this actually from my ex-boyfriend. So my ex-boyfriend and I are super cool still. Like we're cool, and he's told me a lot of things, and he's told me like how, like he's explained to me how men function too, and he's told me too, like guys can literally pursue you, and then go on a date with you, finally sleep with you, and then be like, okay, I'm gonna sleep with her 2 more times, and that's it, right? Or he'll be like, okay, got this done, I'm past it over. I'm over it now. Yeah. Like mission accomplished.
Chase is over.
Yeah, mission accomplished, done. And when he explained these things to me, because he was my first boyfriend after my marriage, I was like, wow, like, you know, we had like really cool conversations, like very honest conversations. And I was like, that's crazy, like that's how men can function, you know? And it's like, when you think about it like that, and when you think about those perspectives, then you really start to think about like, damn, well, do I want to give myself away like that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, do I want to give myself up like that? And I'm not saying that when you finally decide, like, let's say I could wait, God knows however long, and then I finally do something with somebody, and then that causes them to switch up. Like, I guess I will never know until I know, right? Yeah. But at the very least, I know that I'm giving myself the space and putting myself in the position to where I'm feeling like, okay, I'm comfortable with giving away this energy or being open to this, and I'm okay with it. Fully. Like I really be thinking about this shit. Like I reflect so much, and I'm like terrified of giving myself away to just anybody.
And it's good that you wait, because if a guy who's truly into you is willing to wait, is gonna like, okay, she wants to take time, cool. Like I need to show her that I'm here for the long run. And someone who gets upset, leaves because you didn't hook it up, like those are the people you want to chase away. You know, since we're talking about chasing away, this is the next topic that I wanted to talk to you. I always tell people like, how do I bring up this issue without scaring that person away? And I'm always like, bring it up, because you want to scare them away. You know,
you want to see what's gonna make them run.
Yeah, because like if you bring it up, what are we is an issue, and they run, that guy wasn't for you. I was like, if you bring up the issue, like, or whatever the case that may be, I'm always like, bring it up, because you want to run these guys away.
Yeah.
Like, because obviously they're not for you. So don't ever be afraid to run away. Like, I don't know if you agree with that. Like you want to run these guys away.
No, yeah, totally.
And we talked about it before. I was always like, girls have a lot of power, meaning like, if we're talking and you're like, Edgar, I didn't like how you did that, I'd be like, oh shit, my bad. You know, like I'm gonna fix it like that, because I'm like, I like her. I'm trying to do like whatever I can to court her. So I'm gonna change my ways. But the longer you wait to bring something up like that, it doesn't matter if you've been talking for a month. Yeah. Now they're gonna be like, well, it wasn't an issue here. Like, why are you bringing it up now? Because you know how sometimes people wait to bring up an issue because they're like, they think it's gonna change or something's gonna happen. So would you say bring up issues right away,
No,
no matter how
absolutely.
soon into this relationship?
Absolutely. Bring up the issues immediately, because the sooner you do that, the less time you invest. And the more you can see where somebody stands or what their position is on something or whatever, or like what their response is going to be. Because the longer you wait, the more emotionally invested you become. And then the more emotionally invested you become, the more you're willing to accept. Even though it bothered you, you're kind of like, well, fuck, now, like, really, we spent so much time, or like, I really like him, or whatever. And the more you cross your own boundaries and you don't honor them.
Do you think people will change over a period? Like, if they're like this, you know how some people will be like, oh, well, he's going to change, get better, you know? Do you think people will change over time? It's hard to answer that, huh? Because like everybody's there.
Everybody's different.
This guy has tried it and didn't work out. You know,
Right.
like, so it totally depends. That's why I'm like, when people ask me about second chances, I'm like, if you're willing to risk
But
your
what's
time,
the second chance for?
yeah, exactly. Like,
Yeah.
are you willing to risk your time and effort to see if that person changes? Then go for it. Am I going to? If it got to the point where we have to do a second chance, I was like, I don't think it's going to work, because like, to get to that point, a lot had to happen, right? And so now you think that, let's try it again, see what happens, and then it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Now you just wasted a whole who knows how long trying to see if this person changed. That's why, like, the whole, like, if they cheat, will they cheat again? You know, you're just like, depends. Probably,
Maybe,
though.
Possibly. Honestly, when it comes to the cheater conversation, I feel like if they cheated once, they're going to continue to cheat. I do believe that people are capable of changing, but they can't change without God. Period. Without God, without therapy, and without facing their demons, they're not going to change. They're going to be that same person, whether they can conceal it for a certain period of time or not. They're going to continue to be that same person, and they're going to do it no matter what. If they did it to you once, they're going to probably do it to you again, unless they can repent and unless they can truly face themselves. Other than that, this behavior is going to continue. I do believe that people can change, but it's going to take a lot more than just saying, I'm going to change or I'm going to stop. It takes so much more than that, because cheating is coming from such a deeper place. It's from a place of profound hurt. It's from a place of so much lack of self-love, lack of self-respect, a place of insecurity, and all of that has to be resolved. That root has to be resolved. It's not just the cheating action or withholding or stopping themselves from cheating. No, it's so much deeper than that. And all of this has to be addressed in order for them to not engage in this behavior. So do I think people can change? Yes, 1000%. Anybody is able to change, but it takes so much more than just what's at face value. And it takes a certain level of self-awareness, emotional maturity. It's just so much bigger than just, I'm not gonna do it anymore.
Yeah, and then, and also, since we're talking about cheating, if you caught them cheating, they're not gonna tell you if that was the first time they cheated.
Oh,
Meaning, like,
do I have a story for
yeah,
you?
because meaning, I'll let you tell the story, but what I'm trying to say is, like, sometimes just because you caught that person cheating at that moment in time, and they'll be like, that's the only time it happened, that's what he's gonna tell you.
You know what? This is dry January, but you got some vodka in here or something. No, just kidding. This is my té salud, actually. But from personal experience and what Edgar just said, from personal experience, if you've never seen my content, if you've never seen me before, you don't know anything about me. I experienced infidelity in my marriage. I discovered an entire affair in 2019 that I had no idea had been going on for several months. That affair continued even after my discovery, maybe not right off the bat, but they continued to have conversations over the course of the next 2 years, from 2019 to 2021. That's the only time that I knew that he had ever done anything, right? That's the only discovery I had. It wasn't until last year, the end of last year, that people started to come out of the woodwork. I was like, excuse me? And when I put two and two together, every single one of those stories made sense. Not only was that affair one of them, there was one that happened in 2018 when I was, prior to me getting pregnant with my daughter, and the entire time that I was pregnant with my daughter, and I was given receipts for this thing that was going on, and it was basically like a sexual relationship, meeting up in hotels and having sex. And it was somebody that we knew from our past, and somebody felt guilty and finally confessed and came forward because they felt like I was in a good place for me to tell me. And it's like, girl, you should have told me then. Like, all these people are looking at me laughing behind my back, but okay, thanks for the information. And then 2 other people that came forward that he hooked up with them. Maybe it wasn't a prolonged affair, but hooked up with them when my oldest son was young. And all these instances I had no idea about. I only knew the discovery of 2019 to 2021. It wasn't.
That's the one he got caught for.
That's the one he got caught for. Not until 2023 did I discover all the other ones. And that information just came to me willingly. So everything that's done in the dark always comes to light. But do I believe that if you've only caught them once, that was their only time? No, they have a history.
Yeah.
They have a pattern. This is who they are.
They're gonna tell you it was just one time.
Yeah.
You know.
Because why would they? Even if you caught them red-handed, some of them will not. They will be like, "That wasn't me." So you saw me on the counter. It wasn't me. Like that was you. That was you.
It's like I fell, and then for some reason her pants were off, and like I fell inside.
And like I landed there. I'm like, oh,
Sorry.
Really? Okay, yeah, no, totally.
And so that I wanted to bring that up because we had that conversation as well, and that's why I tell them, like, just because you caught them that one time maybe it's true, maybe it was just that one time, or that's just the one time they got caught.
That's the one time they got
caught. And of course they're gonna be like, oh, you caught me this time, but guess what? I hooked up with 2 other girls too. Like, just putting that out there. They're not gonna tell you that. They're just gonna be like, yeah, or they're gonna act like that didn't even happen. So like, if that didn't even happen, these for sure didn't even happen. So
they will never fess up.
Yeah, that's why I always get the question: would I go back with somebody that cheated on me? No. You know.
Yeah. Now knowing what I know, no.
Because you never know, like. Now this person, like, say you do try to give him a second chance. Last time he said he was gonna go get coffee, he went to go meet up with the girl to get coffee. You know, and
anxiety's on like level 1,000.
Yeah, and so you start thinking of all these scenarios. Do they love each other? Did they love each other? Are they still talking? Are they?
Oh my God! Now that you bring that up, let me tell you guys this one quick story. So I discovered the affair September of 2019. My wedding anniversary would have been in October, 10 years. October the following month. We ended up going to Mexico to celebrate, even though the whole affair was discovered, basically sweeping everything under the rug. We got a little too drunk, and he ended up telling me that he loved her, and I was like, how could you love her and love me? Like, that doesn't make any sense. And like, I was just like, the whirlwind of emotions that you experience. And you know what happens when you stay with somebody that had an affair and isn't really somebody that's going to work on themselves, is their ego explodes, and they think they got it like that, and then they start to treat you like they got it like that because you stayed. Yeah, and they start to basically talk to you in a way like, yeah, I loved her, and
yeah, you're still here.
Yeah, like and everything is and they're fucking puffed up, like,
ego
oh yeah, they're that guy, you know, because you made them that guy. And it just gets worse and worse and worse. So just, if somebody cheats on you, just leave. I promise it was for a reason.
It's gonna suck for a little while.
Yeah.
But then obviously we always get over that
yes.
hump. You know,
get past it. Oh, trust me, you get past it. Now I see this person, to me, I'm like,
it's like, I can't believe I was stuck on you like that.
Yeah, like I can, what? Why? Oh, like, so much disgust.
Yeah. But anyways, I know we've been going for a while.
Yeah.
I want to thank you again for always doing this and meeting up with me every time I come out here to record some content. So if you guys haven't followed her, I always put her stuff in the description, because if you guys know who I am, you obviously know who she is. You know, so we always love to do these podcasts for you guys and then clip them up into pieces because you guys love it. So hopefully you guys enjoy this. Hopefully you guys some sort of value from it. She's gonna start doing a lot more stuff, so make sure you guys follow her.
Well, I mean, somebody over here calling me out told me how to do
I did call her out.
Yeah, I was like, okay, I gotta do some more content, period.
But anyways, thank you again.
Yeah.
All right, and we'll see you guys later.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
See you guys.